Truthcast podcast. Truthcast podcast. Setting the captives free. Helping the blind to see. Exposing the darkness with the light. Truthcast podcast. Truthcast podcast. Truthcast podcast.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Truthcast Podcast. I'm your host, Preach. Today we got with us another special guest tapping in on the Truthcast Podcast. You know, it's really, I always say this, but I think it's worth repeating. It's really amazing to hear testimonies. I mean, this is really like the inspiration I got, for making a podcast. Hearing people testimonies and other people hearing other people testimonies, it really, encourage others and make other people start thinking like, man, because at some time of people's life, you're in a situation, and in a situation that you don't think you can get out of, right? In a situation that like it seems like it's impossible. You can't move the mountain, you can't move the obstacle inside your way. It's like it's impossible, hands down, right? Then you hear some other people start talking, and their stories sound just like yours. It might have like maybe a little something different. Sometimes no, sometimes it doesn't. But their stories sound just like yours. And in your mind, you can't get out of this. There's no way you can get out. But their story is a success story, and they came over. They overcame it. So hearing these stories, you hearing these testimonies, and you start getting encouraged because you start thinking, if they can do it, so can I. So without further ado, let's welcome in our guest on the Truthcast podcast. How you doing? How you doing? Introduce yourself, tell people your name, and tell what you do.
What's up, everyone? My name is Lexly Nirvana. I'm from Texas, and I do Christian hip hop and reggaeton music.
Facts. Before we get into music and everything like that, otherwise, um, let's just dive in. I want the people to get to know you a little bit better. Just tell us like you know take us back. In your teenage years, what kind of person was you? Was you a person that like to go in with the crowd? Was you just a calm, collected person? Was you a person like to be by yourself? What kind of teenager was you? When you was growing up.
Well, my teenage years, I was a rebel actually, like in my teenage years. I wanted to do my own thing. I grew up in church. As a kid, my mom would take us to church and stuff. And then you grow up and it's like your parents' God. Like you have to make it your own. So I was like, no, you know what? Like I'm gonna do my own thing. I remember moving from schools, from middle school to high school. I moved, and I was like, oh, here nobody knows me. This is brand new to me, brand new school. So I'm gonna do my own thing. Like I'm not gonna be. Because I got said that I was gonna wait and all this. Like I was gonna wait on God and everything, and like for like relationships and stuff like that. But then when I moved, I was like, oh no, like I'm not doing that. Like I'm doing my own thing. Like I want to have fun. So I remember just like going with the crowd. I used to enjoy a lot of partying. I wouldn't really drink or smoke because I kind of had a little bit of fear of God in a way, of the way that I was grew up. But still, I just wanted to do my own thing, and music would always take me back to like doing bad stuff. Because sometimes I would like I would say like I would still go to church sometimes with my mom and stuff, but and I would try to change or like, oh, I'm gonna give my life to God, and then I'll go back to the same thing because of music. Like music would pull me back, and all that, and it was just one thing after the next. Like I was in a lot of relationships too, in high school and stuff. So like I remember at the age of 17, like that's when I was like, you know what, like my mom signed me up to this retreat, and that's when I was like, you know what, God, like, and it felt like God was telling me like, this is it, like you either gonna follow me or you're not, like. So I went to a 3-day retreat, and that's when I decided to give my life to God, and that was like a complete change after that. Like it was for real at that time. Hmm.
Facts, facts, facts. So you were kind of like the so you rebellious child, right? Am I correct? I'm correct.
Yeah.
So you was raised in church, correct? Right?
I
All
was
right.
raised in. Yeah.
Facts, facts, facts. Like I saying, like I'm telling, I was saying at the first beginning, there's a lot of people out there, that have your story, they can, relate to your story. Because mostly Christian people, um, they are more likely to, you know, do those things. As I can, as I hear in your story, it seemed like God kept you, away from certain things, right?
Hmm.
God kept you away from certain things, but certain things, you did do. But certain things that he kept you away from, but some people, sometimes people just have to go all the way almost off the cliff, just to come to reality. Like, man, there's no bottom down there. I'm about to drop, you know, and have to come back and retreat and repent type of
Hmm.
way. So before I add, say anything else, what was your come to Jesus moment? You said it a little bit, but you say that was the time, you know, when you gave your life to Christ. The question I probably really is asking, after you gave your life to Christ, what happened then? What happened next? Was it a meat change, a complete change? Was it a process? Like how was it?
No, well, this time I had, like I said, it was a for real thing now. So I was like, I'm gonna. I started to study more the Bible, like reading more, getting more into reading, and also like listening to just Christian music, because, like I said, music, like secular music, was the thing that would always bring me back to just the world, back to the world. So I started doing that. I remember asking God, like, God, what is my purpose, like, in life? Like, I don't know what my passions are. Like, I don't know what I'm good at. Um, like when you're in high school or you're growing up, like you don't really know what you're really good at. You're discovering yourself. So yeah, it was a process. For real. I also had some like anger issues too. So those I just kept asking God to help me. Like I didn't want to be like that. um
Mm-hmm.
that's never
Mm-hmm.
good. That's never good. So yeah, so God took me through a process, and I mean, it's been a
Facts.
change then. Yeah, and slowly, I mean, I started writing a song, and then I just started doing music after that. Like.
All right.
Mhm.
So you just I was about to ask that same question. What you said and at the last bit. So before you didn't know what was your passion, you didn't know what you wanted to do, you didn't know what you want to do with your life. What was that spot? What got you to to realize you wanted to do music, and what got you to realize like I want to do music, I want to do music for Christ. Before you answer that question, um, you keep stating in your testimony that when you start singing and a thing like that, you always listen to this music and stuff, and it always brought you back. And here's the thing that is always come to my point that I always talk in my podcast, that music has power to it.
Yeah,
Music is a great, great weapon. It can be used good. It can be used bad. It depends on what the words are, right? There's so many songs that sound great. It's fire. You just want to bump your head to, all that kind of stuff. And you're not even listening to the words, right? It's the words not even,
the
you hearing
instrumental.
the words, you're just not hearing the words. Get what I'm saying? You're hearing it, but you're not hearing it. You're not really listening to what the words are saying, right? And you probably even know the song. Nothing like you don't know the song. You just be singing, sing along and stuff like that. But you're not really listening to what the song is talking about. Like if a song is saying I'm going to be bad and no one can tell me otherwise or something like that, you just gonna be jamming in the kitchen, doing chores, doing stuff, getting things prepared, just singing along. I'm gonna be bad. I'm gonna do this or whatever the case might be. Right? You just gonna be relaxing and you're gonna be enjoying the music. Um, you keep saying that. Pretty soon you are gonna be bad because it's not like it's something there's power in the tongue, right? So whatever you're saying, there's power. It's whatever you say is gonna come. It's gonna come to pass pretty soon, right? If you keep saying it, it's gonna come to pass. Now,
Hmm.
here's another thing that people will say: it's power in the tongue. We get that, but at that point in my life, I wasn't believing in this. I'm just saying something, right? So here's the difficult thing that people get. You know, I understand when they say, well, I wasn't believing it. I just was saying it. It was music that's in my head and stuff like that. So how in the world it is messing me up? The Bible did not say that you had to believe in certain things like this. Situations like this, he did not say you had to believe what you're saying. He just said it was power in the tongue. Go read James chapter 5 and you hear all of it. The tongue is one of the greatest weapons, or probably the greatest weapon the human body can have, because it can kill you, it can heal you, it can help you, it can destroy you, it
Yeah,
can lift you up, it can knock you down. Depends how you use your words. Whatever you say out your mouth, it depends. It depends how you're saying it. Are you doing it in love? Or are you doing it in hate? It goes for missionaries and stuff like that. How are you presenting the gospel to others, right? How are you presenting the gospel to others? Are you doing it in an act of love, act of kindness, mercy, compassion? What kind of spirit are you bringing when you are preaching the gospel, right? That's an important thing too. What kind of spirit are you bringing when you teaching the gospel and or when you are presenting the gospel to somebody else? What kind of spirit are you bringing? Are you bringing that love and meek, the fruits of the spirit kind of spirit? Or are you bringing the lust of the flesh? Or are you just bringing are you doing it in anger and bitterness, or something like that? That's something to think about, because if you're doing it in anger and bitterness, you shouldn't be even um saying
yeah.
nothing at that point. And then also, if God didn't tell you to do it, don't do it, don't do it. And that's going to go in another subject. But yeah, as I was saying, I hope I didn't forget the question I told you. um I think the question was about.
Oh, had I just wanted to do music? I think that's what
Oh,
it was.
yes, 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 yes. So yeah, how, like, what got you into music? Like, what was that day that you said I want to do music? You know, because when you draw, you get kind of like, you feel like drawing on that day. You can't just do something like, hey, record something. If you don't feel like it. So what was that moment like? You felt like, oh, I want to do this, like, for real.
Well, I always enjoy writing. So writing like in my journal and stuff like that. So I always enjoy that. And sometimes I remember in school also, like we would do I was part of this poetry club. I was part of this poetry club in elementary where we would like compete against each other in schools. It was called UIL poetry, but it was in Spanish. And that too, but mostly it was just the writing part. Like I just felt like just writing a song, and after that, like it just continued, and God started opening doors. Like I remember, like I started doing ministry in prison ministry. So that was one of my first times actually. I actually would do like a cover song there at the with the inmates and stuff. Like it was all male inmates, but that's how it slowly started, just with me writing. Because I never wanted to. I never thought like, oh, I want to be a rapper. I want to be a singer. Like I never thought that. Like I didn't know. I wasn't sure what I wanted to be, but this whole writing, like it just, that's how it all started. And then I found out about Christian hip hop, because when I first became a Christian, like I didn't know that there was Christian hip hop, or there was even Christian reggaeton too. Because now that I'm doing reggaeton, like I remember when I first when I came to Christ, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna listen to reggaeton. Like, I don't think, I don't wanna go back. I don't wanna go back. But listening to this guy, to this artist, that does Christian reggaeton, his name is Funky. I was like, oh my gosh, like this actually exists. Like we can actually like glorify, listen, to God, through this music. So I thought that was so awesome, and also with Lecrae too. Like he was one of the first ones that I listened to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So far, how many singles or albums have you put out?
Well, I have an EP. I'm currently working on an album, and I have a couple of singles. I don't have the numbers, but it's around, I think, like maybe 10 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So have you done any features with any artists here lately, or what is the top five artists you would like to collab with?
Oh, well, I mean, I have done collabs. I did one with B Rose. I did one with Bianca Love. I don't know if you know who they are. I've done one here with like people here locally, um, here in Texas, here in my area. So I've done a couple of them with different people here. But some of the ones that I would like to do, it's since I've been doing a little bit more reggaeton, like definitely like maybe, I don't know. It's like so many. It's so many, but I do like Ty Razzle. That's like that would be dope to do, or 1K Few. That would be awesome.
Mm,
In the reggaeton, I think it would be like maybe on El Diaz, or like even Funky. That would be amazing if I could do one with him.
facts, facts. Shout out to Bianca Love. I just had on the podcast I think a week or two ago. Amazing lady.
Yes,
Um
yes.
so speaking, just getting back on the subject of music because um when somebody bring this subject up, I have a lot to say about it, because these days people call Christian music anything, right? Being an artist, there's so many mess ups you can do. There's so many messed up you can do, in the kingdom as well. Especially, when you get well known, or if you're trying to get well known, or if that's your only focus, right? If that's your only focus, you're going to mess up sooner rather than later, right? So, Christian artists that that move away from the topics, of the gospel, what the Bible says, and they start making um music. This uplifting music, it doesn't have to have nothing to do with God. You can use the music for a loved one, you can use it for God. You don't know what kind of music it is, right? And that's when you start questioning like what's going on. Um when a Christian artist is known for making Christian music, I think it, I think in their mind it gives them a go ahead like, hey, I can make a song. It can be used for God. You could talk about God, or you can talk it to your loved one. It doesn't matter. You can use it for both. What? Um, and people say, man, is that dangerous? That's wrong? Right? Is that wrong to do? The reason is, you're a Christian artist. People look at you, people follow you, and people get inspired by you. People look up to you. So whatever you do wrong, whatever mess up you do, it's never gonna go away. I mean, of course, it doesn't matter what people think about you, but people care about their reputations, right? But that's why so many times Christian artists or Christian people in general, they just, they cave in. There's two guys that that always come in my mind when I talk about this thing. One is Marcus Rogers, one is Brett Wayo. Now listen, Marcus, for example, anything he posts, if you try to post him on your story, Instagram will immediately tell you like, "Hey, do you want to post this guy on your story? He known for bringing false messages. You don't want to mention him in your story. Put yes or no if you still want to mention him." Oh, he puts yes, like they a mess. But Wayo, they really be after him. So every song he be any reel, any song, they take the audio off of the song so you can hear the reel. They try to make sure most of his followers don't get the message. And these are some file people that not ashamed of the gospel, right? But the lukewarm people, well and behold, they will push their message. They will make sure you listen to it. They make sure everybody have it. They make sure the algorithm is especially if you made your algorithm, just mostly Christian things, they're gonna make sure you see their songs, you see the message, you can see this and that and this. And and it's like, what in the world? Mega churches at the same time. A lot of mega churches is, they not the pastor's not preaching the straight facts gospel. They just not. But they will social media will want you to hear those people than others because they like, well, they like this. I believe in Jesus. I believe in the gospel. There's some things, I don't care about. I don't care about if you do this, you can still do that. But the Bible tells you not to do it. You can still do it. Not that bad. They two face it. They say one thing, then they say another because they want to join the crowd. They want to be in Hollywood. They want to be known as a star. They want to be a star. They want people to, idolize them. And once you start, once you start causing that, people start looking at you like that. That's when God starts taking you down because you are not giving Him the praise. All facts. Listen, all facts. You're not giving him the praise. Once that start happening, he's gonna start moving all the accolades, all the things that making you feel like something that you're not, all the things that making you feel so special. He gonna start removing it. He gonna start taking it. Something gonna happen to your house. Something gonna happen to your car. Something gonna happen to your family. And just to get your attention, if he really want to use you, and if he doesn't say like that's it. I'm not dealing with you. But if he still want to use you, he's gonna do anything. He's gonna move everything just to get your attention. And as soon as you pay him attention, and that's probably when he stops. But he probably, sometimes he might won't even stop there, even when you say, "Oh, I surrender," just for because when he start taking these things, when he start, we start feeling sickly. That's when the time you start really praying, you start really reading your word, you start really paying attention to God because you need the healing. You're not thinking about what other people say. You're not thinking about your character. You're not thinking about how you look when you go out. You're not thinking about, oh, I don't smell that great. You know why? Because you can't hardly move. You're sickly. You need help. You need deliverance. And the saddest thing is, you probably won't be even able to wash yourself because depends on what state are you in. How your sickness is. Somebody you probably have to have a caretaker. Stuff like that. So God have His way to humble you. He have His way to humble people. People in general. You got anything to add on it?
Yeah, you're right. I've been like, I remember asking someone, like an artist. I asked them like, how do you stay humble? Because I'm starting. I'm doing these things, right, going different places and stuff like that, doing more music. And I remember he said, he was like, "Oh, God will know how to humble you. Like, He will know." I'm like, okay, good to know, because this person has been doing music for a long time, and it's a pretty big one. So like we get to meet other people, and I was just asking for advice and stuff. So it was really good. It was really good.
Yes, yes, facts, fact. You know, you know, I would say, to prevent God from things are going to happen. You're going to go through trials and tribulation. That happens anyway for a Christian.
Yeah.
Um, but to prevent those things for God, for to humble you, the best thing is to pray that you don't have an ego, right? Little things make people feel special. There's nothing wrong about feeling special, right? It's how you treat others when you feel special. Are you going to be the same person? Because I know artists that when they had about 6,000 followers, and now they have maybe 70, 30,000, whatever the case might be, followers, right? I see their fruits and I see how they changed, right? How they changed when they were talking to me, talking to family. They just changed. They wasn't the same person that I first saw when I first met them. Something is different, and and it only happened when they start getting these followers. And I'm thinking like, man, these numbers and that little check mark that most people nowadays, when you see they have a check mark, you didn't even work yourself just to get that check mark. You paying for it every single month just to keep it on your account. So how in the world are you feeling special if you have to pay for your check mark every single month, right? And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with this, right? There's nothing wrong with having followers. There's nothing wrong with your check mark. There's nothing wrong with having Lucci, Louis Vuitton. There's nothing wrong with nothing of this, right?
But when it
It
has you,
depends. Yeah, it depends how you treat others, right? Once you have those things, are you still helping your neighbor? Still helping the poor? Are you still volunteering for little things like that? What are you willing to do, as I was saying, only because of what you're doing, or because it's what you're becoming. Because you don't want to become a person that think he's better than humans. Because once you start thinking you're better than humans, you're gonna start thinking that you're better than God. You're gonna start thinking that you're gonna forget that God gave you these things, and you don't need his help no more because you're better than him. So some
yeah,
kind of way, you're gonna start
like
thinking about that. It's a dangerous thing to think about, but you can start thinking about that. You got anything to add before I ask another question?
why know in the Bible, I remember reading in the Bible it says something about looking others down like that. I forgot where it was. I think it was in Matthew or somewhere when it's saying like yeah, like you're looking down at people, like don't be doing that. Like you see a person and the person that's rich, you treat them better than the person that doesn't dress too nice or smells or
Right.
whatever. Like
Yeah, it was.
that's, he calls it that sin too. Like that's also sin. Oh, partiality. That's what it's called. Sin of
Mm-hmm.
partiality. I forgot what book is it, but it's one of the gospels.
Matthews. It's Matthews. I read this a few. Was it days ago? Yeah, I think it was a few days ago. I read it a few days ago. It was Matthews. Matthews is in the 20s. I forget the chapter too, but it's in the 20s. And he was just talking about she said it very
Being
clearly. Um, how you look at people in the gay clothing, in those world back in the day, it didn't mean what they make it now. It just mean like nice, stuff like that. Nowadays, you can't even put a rainbow on the back of your book or for a Christian book because you don't even have Christians start questioning like, man, why do you got this rainbow
yeah,
at the back of it?
yeah,
And we lose the the picture of God made the rainbow. We lose the idea of, oh, this is for the covenant. But the first thing we start thinking about, oh, he must endorse strange people. He must go along with strange people. He must go along with this. He must go along with that. And you start questioning, like, you start thinking in your mind, like, is this person a real Christian? You can't even put the rainbow in the back of in back of any Christian book because true Christians are gonna start questioning, like, what's going on here. That's just even me. I even start thinking like, what's going on here? And then I start thinking like, man, this is really sad because I'm in a society that when you see a rainbow, you know what it's for, right? You don't think about, oh, that's the covenant. That's what God promised that He's not gonna rain on this earth anymore. Now you just start thinking, wow, um, what's wrong with him? I thought he's a Christian, right? That's just exactly what I start thinking about. But it's really sad that the society is is changing everything. And to go to another point that everything that God made, I want people to listen to this very closely, and I hope you get it. I hope you get it. Everything that God made, right? Everything that God made, He made everything perfect, right? In the beginning, everything was perfect. Marriage was supposed to be a beautiful thing. Sex was supposed to be a beautiful thing. That was almost like the first thing He told them to do: be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth. Right? That's what He was talking about. It was supposed to be a great thing. That's all. That was the easiest job, any person can do. That was the job that He gave, the first man and woman. Right? Be fruitful, make children. That was it. Right? Long and behold, here come the enemies, sowing a bad seed and messed it up. Right? We all know the story. 99% of Christians, they blame their troubles on Adam and Eve. Right? They always do. That's just what happens. Point is, why am I'm just gonna walk you through this a little bit. He messed up the garden. He messed up the perfect home. It was kind of like it typified heaven. It was perfect. It was, stuff like that. They had two choices, right? Tree of knowledge, good and evil. Tree of life. They could have ate the tree of life. They could live forever. Blah blah blah. That and this, right? We know the story. Now, here we read in Genesis chapter 6, if I'm correct. God called Noah. You tell him it's going to rain, this and this. You know, bring all the animals and make the ark. I gave you the instruction. You made the ark. It rained 40 days, 40 nights. We all know the story, right? After the flood, the rainbow came, and God set this rainbow for a sign and a promise that He will not destroy the earth like that again, ever, 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 as long as it's seed time and harvest, cold, winter, summer, fall, those seasons. As long as that is on the earth, He's not going to destroy this earth like that again, right? Now, I gave a few, points because I'm getting to this. Everything that God made that was perfect and beautiful, the enemy always have a replica of the same thing that God
Yeah,
has. Yes. So marriage, now he's making his own, and it's an abomination. It's an abomination to God, abomination to any Christian that's truly a Christian. And you're not supposed to be this to this person. You're supposed to love this person. You're supposed to do that and that and this. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the question is, why are you saying it? Right? Are you saying it because you're scared when you teach against this? Teach against it, people gonna start looking at you different. Or are you saying it because you really believe that? That's one thing. Marriage is supposed to be beautiful. Now the enemy got his own different type of marriage, and he is abomination. Excuse me, it's abomination, right? Now, number 2, music was beautiful, right? It was a powerful thing. If when we read back in Isaiah, if I'm correct, God was telling you that Michael, not Michael, Lucifer was a beautiful angel. He had a beautiful voice, beautiful talent.
Mm-hmm.
He fell, he sinned, he came down to earth, right? Now he got his own kind of music. God have his kind of music. The enemy got his kind of music, right? And a lot of Christians still have secular tapes inside their houses, right? But the funny thing is, and so sometimes, and a lot of Christians still be singing the secular songs. But do you see any sinners singing worship songs? Nope. Do you
No.
see any sinners singing gospel songs? Nope. Why? Because it doesn't interest them. But the funniest thing is, all Christian does, they're always interested into what the enemy has to offer. Yes, they want to live with Christ on Sundays and Wednesday. They want to live for Christ probably all week. But they still want to listen to their old records. They still want to listen to the blues. They still want to listen to jazz. They still want to listen to Frank Sinatra if they old enough, right? Nowadays people probably don't listen to Frank Sinatra. I don't know. Maybe some young people do. I don't know all young people. Um, maybe some still want to listen to Cardi B. I don't know. Right? Maybe some people want to listen to Nicki Minaj. Maybe some people want to listen to Biggie, Tupac, whatever record you still have, right? Whatever record you still have with you, right? And you still listen to it, and it's not praising God, right? You need to repent, because that's not of God. That's the point. That's just facts. It's not of God. But I just feel, it's so sad to see that all the Christians out there, not all of them, and I'm sorry just to put everybody in the same category, but a lot of Christians still out there, they still want to, cling on to little things of the world. They still want to do little things with this, what sinner do. They still find it fun, right? And you hear Christianity is boring, this is boring, serving Jesus is boring, and you have one life, might as well live it, right? That's what you hear everybody say that. You got one life, might as well live it, right? And the fact is, once you start living your life, aka feeding your flesh and gratifying your flesh every single day, every single night, pretty soon it's going to take you off the deep end and you're going to die, right? But point, period, everybody dies. So what's the difference? If I serve in Jesus, I'm going to die. If I'm serving the devil, I'm going to die. So what's the difference? That's what a lot of people come talking. What's the difference? What's the difference? Right? And the difference is very simple. You are serving the creator that made you. And what he is offering you is a beautiful home, a new body. You don't worry, you don't have to worry, you're not gonna get old, you're not gonna, all the stuff that happened to your body now is not gonna happen up there. He promising you a paradise, right?
Yeah.
And all he asking is for you to serve him, which he is your creator, he is your master. So why wouldn't you serve him, right? But the beautiful thing about it, God is giving you a choice. He's not forcing you. He's not making you. It's your
Hmm.
choice. He's telling you the two options. There's no in between. There's no purgatory. There's no, I was almost there, but I wasn't there, position. There's two choices. You pick one, you refuse the other. You take one, you reject the other, right? There's two choices. So he's asking, that's what God is offering, right? Now the enemy, on the other hand, he's offering you, I'm going to fill your flesh. It's gonna be thrilling. Gonna feel great. You're gonna feel amazing. But at the end, you're gonna say, I had a wonderful life, but you're gonna die. And once you open your eyes, once again, you're gonna be hell. You're gonna be in hell. It's gonna be weeping and gnashing of teeth, and you're gonna be in pain forever and forever. And then all is gonna go in your little skull or mind, if you even have a mind down there, is, was it worth it? Right? Right? So the point is, are you going to die to your flesh and suffer now, or are you going to feed your flesh and suffer later? That's the two choices. You got
Yeah,
anything to
that's
add
so
about
true.
it?
Yeah,
You
that's
got
so
anything
true
to
because
add?
the enemy, I mean, of course, is gonna try to bring you the most like fulfilling things, temporary things at that time, but I mean, it's not gonna fulfill you eternally. It's not eternal. It's not eternal, and we want to live like that in the flesh because, like you said, it feels great. It feels good. I mean, who doesn't like to feel good, right? At that time, but we know that it comes with consequences. I mean, we see all these different like big artists and stuff like that they're suffering, like they have all this money, they have all this fame, and they're not happy. They're really not happy. I remember seeing this girl. I don't know if you know who she is. Her name is Dove Cameron. She's like from
Yeah,
Disney.
yes,
She's from like
yes,
Disney.
yes.
And I saw one of her posts. I think I had seen it on Snapchat, and then I saw one of her posts on Instagram that she was just like posting that she was crying. And if you look at her, she's like super skinny. Like I think she's having like health issues too. Like she's just not happy. Like she's just not happy. And what does everybody else look at? Like everybody thinks like, oh, we want to be like her, but she's like not happy. Like she's not happy with herself, with her life. Like she isn't. And why? Because she has this decided to take like into the enemy whatever the enemy is offering. But I mean, we pray and I hope that she finds Christ, the one that's gonna fulfill her, really fulfill her.
Facts, facts, facts. Yes, I remember Dove. One of the cast of the Descendants. Um, Disney original movie. Um, quick point on this. Somebody offered her. I think I read it on the news. Or newspaper, or something on my phone. It was one or the other. They also it came out, I think, probably 2 years later, or like 2 years later after they made the first movie, or something like that. They offer her. They actually offer both of the both of the two ladies on the Descendants cast. They say like it came out that one of the producers is about like 7 years old. He was the boss over all, film production and everything like that. Like if he said you hired, you hired. If he gave you a raise, you got a raise, right? And he offered both of the ladies like, you want a raise? And they're like, yes, yes, yes. He said, if you want a raise, you're gonna have to sleep with me, right? This old guy, he forcing these young teenagers to sleep with him, right? One said no, and she got spot number two. One said yes, which was Doug Cameron. And once this got out, um, Disney does not want this. They don't want their company to have a bad face, a bad. They don't want them to seem like they're endorsing it. And this has been happening for years. They always hide it under the cover, but now it came out. It's on TV, on public. Back in the 1900s, you could hide a lot of things, right? We can look in history. Um, President FDR had a bad illness. He was hiding it. But back in the day, you can do those things. You can hide. You can keep a lot of things under cover, right? But nowadays, you got media. You got so much technology. Everything is so advanced. You can't hide nothing. So once this got out, Disney, of course, going to fire him. They might pay him under the table. I don't know. I'm just speculating right there. But they kicked him out, they fired him and stuff like that. But me, looking at this person and see how she changed over the years is really one sad thing to look at. First she looked like an innocent young kid, right, teenager. But now she looked, very, witchified, and full of darkness. She's sad,
Yeah.
depressed, angry a lot. So that's what it does. But a lot of people, a lot of actors, they know how to hide that. They bring a smile in front of the camera, so people can still want to be actors and still want to be, you know, like them. And
Hollywood. Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. So the question really is, can Christians, and I'm gonna ask this to you, can Christians, you know, true believers go to Hollywood and be an actress or actor?
I mean, they can, but it's gonna come to a point where they're gonna have to make a choice. Like, if it's either gonna be because Hollywood has nothing to do with Christians, like Christianity, like it's not the values and everything of God. Like, it's not in Hollywood. But I mean, I do believe you can do that, but there's gonna come a point where you're gonna have to like, okay, am I gonna keep doing what they're telling me, or am I gonna follow God, and what he says on his word. So I really firmly do believe that.
Facts, facts, facts. My take on it is like it's simple. I don't think Christian can go into Hollywood because, as the points as you was talking about, sooner rather than later, they're gonna have to say, I'm gonna do this for, um, am I gonna live a righteous and holy life for Christ, or I'm going to kneel, I'm gonna bow, and I'm going to be an actor and you know pursue the passion that I like, that I wanted. Because, as you said, Hollywood is the devil. That's a tool of the devil. That's one of his biggest corporations, and he's trapping a lot of people inside that industry. So, why say Christian can't go to Hollywood? Because if you made it so far in Hollywood, that's telling me that you kneeled at some point just to get where you at, right? You didn't just get where you at on because you just was a Christian and people liked you, right? You can be a Catholic and you can go in Hollywood. They don't care about that. That's the enemy's version of Christianity because the enemy know that there's so many religions out there, and everybody not gonna be fooled about how the different religion is. The story doesn't make sense. It sounds like a fairy tale. How they serve different gods and stuff like that. It sounds like a fairy tale, so nobody gonna believe it, right? So he made Christianity, not Christianity, but he made Catholicism. Um, if you really looked in history, and I'm a big history fanatic, um, around AD, I would say 45 ish, or or yeah, around AD 45 ish. So, the narrative of the Catholicism changed over the past few years. Because if you look back where Catholicism was made and when it was founded, it was not founded like as people remember it now. It is not, just not. People think it's about Jesus Christ. Is a think about Mary. Is think about this and think about that. Think about this. That's why these little tiny little things is put inside of it. Rosary beads. What are rosary beads? And I won't get into that right now. Praying to Mary, and I heard some Catholic like, we're not praying to Mary. We ask the Mary to ask Jesus uh, for things like that. Like, where in the Bible say you can do that. That's one reason. Even if you're not praying to Mary, well, in the Bible it said
It's
you
because
can
they
ask
never read the
Mary to ask
Bible.
Jesus because, listen, on the cross, that motherhood thing, it got cut off because he said, John, take your mother. That's your son now. Because he's not thinking about, oh, Mary, that's my mom. Then that's no more. That's no more. It ended. It ended. So how in the world the Catholic people think since that was his mother have control of their son and she's in heaven, and if we ask the mother, she can get us wherever she wants because Jesus have to listen to him because that's his mom, right? So that's the thing. But listen to this. If I tell a lot of people today, if I had about like 60 Catholics in this live and everybody was on the screen, and I told them that if if I told them this, that Catholicism was founded on a man and a woman, not Jesus and not Mary, they would not believe it. They would not believe it because that's not what the narrative of Catholicism is today. They just won't believe it. If I tell them that the man and the woman that Catholicism was made out of was a son and a mother, and the son married the mother, and now they portraying that. I can't even call it marriage because just how in the world can a son marry his mother? But that's what happened. The son married his mother, and that's what they portray in Jesus and Mary to be. Nobody will believe me. No one was taking the truth because that's not what Catholicism is today. Catholicism is like this different version of a religion that we are in, the religion that we are in, right? It sounds the same, it kind of looks the same. Um, we believe in the same God. We believe in the Father, we believe in the Son, and we believe in the Holy Spirit. It sounds peachy. But that's another subject. You got anything to add before I ask the last question?
Yes, I'm sorry for the noise, but I was gonna
It's all
say,
right.
I believe it's our tradition. Like it really is our tradition, because sometimes you try to tell people like about like people that are Catholic, and they are very like big believers in Catholic, like as Catholics. They're very in their traditions, like, oh, this is what my parents used to do, this is what I was taught, so I'm gonna keep doing the same thing. Like it worked for them at that time. But I think that needs to be broken, because like if it just continues like that, like you're not going anywhere, you're following traditions, you're following religion, and it sounds like the Pharisees. If you really think about it in the word, like it talks about, like, it sounds like the Pharisees. They were just following all these rules and everything, and that's not what God wants. He wants a relationship, not all these rules. And it's like that, like he gave us the commandments, and it's because we need him. We're never gonna be able to fulfill everything that's in the commandments.
Facts, 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 facts. Um, you know, and I think a lot of people, Christians up today, confuse Catholicism with, serving Jesus Christ and, um, this religion, because a lot of people think it's the same thing. There's nothing different about it. But it is. It is something different about it. It's totally different. And one reason they were one of the deadest church. If you ever saw a Catholic mass, right? They was one of the deadest service inside, human history. It's the most boring service ever. Every single minute you hear the police with the incense coming down the alleyway in the name of the Father. He can't even look up name of the Father, name of the Son, and the Holy Spirit, that's doing those dumb incense. And here come the congregation, they all doing it at once, doing the rosary beads. I guess they praying. I don't know what they doing. And it's like, what in the world is going on here? Everything is tradition. Everything is in orders. Everything is in plan. Everything is boring. Now, I heard somebody tell me that. So you don't think all Catholics is saved? You think all Catholics going to hell because there is so many Catholic. There's more Catholic than is true believers in Christ, and and people think that matters, right? God is not looking for numbers when He come back. That's not making because you win, right? Listen, now listen. I'm gonna give you a scenario, right? Let's say this: there was two sets of people and going inside the wilderness, right? One was following the map. One was following the map, and the map was going to lead them to a beautiful paradise. One decided that I'm not going to follow that map. I read the map. I don't like the directions. It seemed too hard. Me and my team, we're going to take a shortcut because I think my father was around here, but he was around here and he said there was a shortcut around the corner. I'm going to get to the promised land before you, right? The majority of the groups went with the other person that was taking the shortcut. Long and behold, he seemed like he was getting there. It was on the way. There was fruit. There was berries. There was people offering bread. And it seemed like they're like, oh my goodness, we are getting to the promised land. We are getting to the to paradise, right? It was going on. They're going on, going on. They was keep going on, keep going on, keep going on. Long and behold, they reached a dead end. But they couldn't go back because they got lost. There was only one choice: go over or stay there and starve. Now the others that did follow the map, they were still they it was hard. It was harder. They wasn't always getting the berries. They wasn't always getting the fruit. They wasn't always getting this good stuff that the other people was getting. But at the end, they did reach the promised land. Now, what side won? That's the basis of the story. What side won? Well, the side that decided I'm going to take the shortcut because I don't want to follow that map. What? Because I saw the map. You're going to have to go through. a den of lions, just to pass the next piece to get to the place you're trying to get to, and it seemed dangerous and stuff like that. I'm not trying to go to that. You have to go to too many trials, too many tribulations to get to your promised land. But there's a shortcut, so I'm going to go this route, right? So what side won? Was it the side that had the most followers and followed the guy that said, "I know a shortcut, follow me," or was it the side that said, "I got the map, I know what I'm doing, follow me"? And he only had about like 5, 6 people, and the other guy had about 40 to 60. They
That
were
reminds
about to
me of
die.
a story. That reminds me of a
Was
story of the narrow path, like the narrow path, and what Jesus
fact.
talked about in the Bible.
Facts, facts,
Yeah.
facts. The other side is about to die. They're gonna die if they're not gonna fall off the cliff, or they're gonna die by starvation. So the moral of the story is what side won. God is not coming back because he gonna have the most numbers, and people think they're gonna that host like you said Catholicism not real, but most of the world they believe they Catholic and stuff like that. So what, God's gonna kill everybody and stuff like that. God is giving people a lot, He giving people enough time to change. He's not coming back. He's not here yet. So, even if he come back tomorrow, he giving you about 6 hours before the next day. So you got enough time to get on your knees. The whole world can get on their knees right now and be sincere and start praying to God, No, it could happen. It could happen. It probably won't, but it could happen. So don't just think because the enemy gonna have more people going to hell. Who cares? You're gonna be you gonna be in hellfire. You're gonna be in pain. Excuse me, and it's not gonna be fun down there. And you think that's success? You think that's winning? And God probably won't have that many. That's what a lot of people say. It's speculating. I don't know what's gonna happen there. Um, and more likely they might be right. There might be more people going to hell because people love to sin. That's just hard facts. People love to sin. They love they love it. Just they love doing that. That is true. You got anything to add before I ask the last question?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I really like everything you said is so true. Like it really goes back to what I was saying. Like it's the narrow path and which one it is. I mean, the shortcut. Everybody wants to take the shortcut because it's faster, it's easier, But it goes back to what we were talking about. Like it's not gonna bring you any eternal salvation. It doesn't take you to any. It doesn't take you to God, And that's what all these Hollywood people and everything like they want to do, and that's what everybody's looking at. And I was gonna say something about how, like, the question that you had asked, like if Hollywood, like if a Christian could be in Hollywood. I remember hearing the story with Kirk Cameron. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a Christian, what is it called, actor. He's a Christian actor. And
Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah,
he's done different movies. And I remember I think he was gonna be cast in one of Hollywood movie. I don't remember which one it was, but I remember him sharing the story that they had asked him if he could be in this role where he had to sleep with a girl, and I don't know what else was going on, but he was like, oh no, I can't do that. Like I'm a Christian, like I can't do that. So he like I said, like it's gonna come to a point where you're gonna have to, like, either you're gonna sacrifice that and leave it, or you're gonna follow that, like you were saying, bow into whatever they're telling you to do. Hmm.
yes, yes, all facts, all facts. And when people start covering these topics, that's when people start saying, "Man, I don't like to be around this person no more. I didn't know she thought like this. I didn't know she was like this. I thought she was a cool person." And stuff like that. They just want you to kneel. They want you to bow. They want you to give in. They want you to keep your mouth shut. They love when Christians, you can say you're Christian. There's nothing wrong with that. But once you start saying, when you start sticking up for your belief and your rights, and you start saying like, I don't believe in this, I don't do this, I disagree with that, I disagree with that. That's right, that's right, that's not right. When you start pointing out those things, right, people is going to start leaving you. You're going to know who's your friends and who was your enemies. You're gonna know who was the wolf inside sheep clothing and who was the real friends, the real sheep that were beside you. You're gonna know pretty soon. Once you start doing those things, right? Everything gonna be revealed and you're gonna know about it because they're not gonna be around you. They're not gonna want to be around you no more because how you act, how you talk, how you look, how you dress. eh, hey, so and so, you want to go to the party? I heard they got some liquor. They got this. They're gonna have women. They're gonna have guys there. They're gonna have all that kind of stuff. I don't do that stuff. And it, and pretty soon they gonna say like, why you don't do this? Like, I'm a Christian. I don't do this. I don't do this no more. Like, they might start try to convince you, but once you start, telling them what where you stand, they're gonna leave you. They're gonna leave you. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. Last question before we go. Um, this is a question that I ask every single guest on my podcast. For you, what does it mean to be a Christian?
For me, well, for me, it's following God. It's your heart posture, like we were talking about earlier. Like, how are you treating others? That's a big one. Following God, following His word, like what He's saying. Like when you're making decisions and stuff like that, are you basing yourself on on what He's saying for you? His will, doing His will, because He wants the best for you. Like He really does. And sometimes, like we think we know best, but God knows better than us. I mean, His ways are higher than our ways, says in His word. So um, following Christ, and whenever people want to come and move you and tell you all these things, like who are you standing with? Who is your firm foundation? And yeah, like following His rules. How are you treating people? Because it's like how He had said it, Jesus had said, like it sums into two, that commandment sums into two, like love God and love people. So that's what it is. That really is.
Facts, facts, facts. Love God, love people, and that's not telling you to go along with their mess. When it say love people, it's not saying, when I hear, one reason why Marcus Rogers never hardly listen, look at his text message or anything like that. I be reading all the comments, and when he talk about, these things, these subjects that make a lot of people uncomfortable, that make a lot of, 99% of Christian would never touch on. And that's why I love this guy so much. So when you start talking about these things like that, they talk about, hey man, you just doing hate speech. You just doing this. God tell you to love, love everybody. You're not serving the God in the Bible because the God of the Bible always spoke about love. But there was certain chapters, and if you read in Matthew's, he was talking about, judgment, and people call that hate, but this is righteous judgment. And God can hate you. He had the right to hate, his creation. He got a right to hate. He's God. He can do everything he wanted to do. So don't just saying like God don't hate nobody. Yeah, he can hate you. He can hate you. But for Christians in general, when we say we love you, that don't mean we go along with your mess. And if we talk about what you do, not talk about like talk against you, but talk about your sin and what you're doing and pointing out that is wrong. And 99% of people gonna call it hate speech. That's just how it is. That's how it goes. People gonna say this is hate speech. This is what people do. Um, people, you don't love this person. You're supposed to be nice to trans people. You're supposed to be nice to gay people. You're supposed to be nice to homosexual people, lesbians. You're supposed to be nice to them person. You're not supposed to talk about it. You're not supposed to, you're not supposed to do this stuff. But I'm a guy that I'm not gonna stand idly by if I see something wrong. That's just me. I'm not gonna keep my mouth shut, right? At all. That's at all because I can't stand it. I can't stand it. It seemed like now that they got so many Christians shutting up. Now they forcing it down everybody's throat. Not only grown ups. Now they're trying to force it down children in schools, colleges. They're trying to teach them when the first day of school and everything like that. And it's sad because teachers have more time with your children than parents do. you only have about like a good 5 hours. That's saying five about like 3 hours when they get back and 2 hours before they go back to school. So who in the world you think they're going to listen to more? They're gonna be listening to the teacher because they are mostly with the teacher mostly every day. They teaching them things that you probably don't agree with. So a good facts for mothers, is the best to homeschool your child. It's a lot of work. It's gonna take time, but if you don't want your child corrupted, mentally brainwashed, you're gonna take the time out and homeschool your own child because it's the best thing. And I was homeschooled and I'm very happy. When I was younger, I was saying like, man, I wish I was in school because it's very hard to make friends. Nobody hardly know me. It's I can't just walk up to somebody and say, hey, can we be friends? No, it doesn't work like that. So and come to think about, I'm very glad that I was homeschooled because what's happening now, that I was still been in school when this was happening, and so it would have been a mess. I would have been a mess. I want to be the guy that people know me now. People want to have Truthcast podcast because I wouldn't be probably talking about this. I'll probably even been saved. So so it really is sickening, very sickening. So is I don't have
It's
nothing
really
else to say.
bad.
Yeah.
It really is bad. Like everything that they're teaching them, and I mean, you see some of the posts too, like even on Instagram, Facebook, like everything that they're teaching is just it's just sickening to see it. Like, and then we think about it and we're like, how are children gonna grow? Like when we have kids, like how is it gonna be? Like if this is how it is right now, like so yeah, that homeschooling, I know it's getting more. I'm hearing it more now than before. Really, really.
Mhm, mhm. I think a lot of people start going to homeschool because it's gonna take, like I said, it's gonna take time, it's gonna take money, it's gonna take this and that, and what a better teacher can it be than your own two parents teaching their own children, right? Because you're gonna have patience, you're gonna show love and that and this and that and this. Yes, you're gonna correct them. You might put them on punishment. It's for their own good. None of us like this. Like we didn't like to be grounded. We didn't like to be on punishment. Right? Just to go back what she said. Then what God tell you to do is this the base of being Christ-like. To be a Christian is saying, and being a Christian is saying being like Christ, like what He said in the Bible to do. Follow the Ten Commandments, follow the golden rules. Follow what He said do. Die to flesh. Do this. Do these things. Um, that's being like Christ because that's what he did. And people say, Christ didn't have temptation. Christ didn't do this. He didn't battle the flesh. He didn't that. He didn't do that. But people forget that, he was God in human flesh. So once you're in human flesh, he was experiencing everything that we all experience today. But the thing is, um, they say like he was God, he was that, so it was easier. No, it really wasn't. It was not. It just as hard as had all harder, for him, right? Because he was God, so the enemy was definitely trying to get him very, very soon. They was trying to knock him down any way
I
possible.
mean, since he was born.
Facts, facts. He was trying to get it before he's born. As you can read in Revelation, it was telling you that he was trying to get Mary before he was even born. And you can go read that or go read Revelation what I was talking about. But that's all, ladies and gentlemen. The podcast is ended. It was very great to have my guests on
Thank
today.
you for having me.
You're welcome, my friend. It's very great to have my guest on today. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. Until next time, see ya.